One, ICE are using the headlights of their vehicles, trucks, which is what I experienced tonight, in order to make your footage not helpful, right? Because some of the agents that I witnessed tonight didn't have their mask on, and I did record. However, it wasn't to a quality in which I would like, right? And this was because there was a trailer truck with its headlights just right? So these private companies are being coerced through the need to be in obedience to the federal government to utilize their property and their resources in order to make it difficult for the people to resist and hold these agents accountable, to record, to have footage, right? They're trying to manufacture a reality in which they have anti the people technology, right? Whether that's their trucks, because their truck also had their headlights on. This was particularly to stop the people from capturing their faces, because not all of them were masked, particularly the ones who are behind this truck with the really bright lights. And this is night. This is literally not that long ago. Two, they do not fear the people coming out when it's a handful, because it seemed like they were just having a laugh. And in fact, that's extremely telling of the fact that watering down resistance and to just shouting and just saying, "What is your badge number?" isn't helping. And I'm not saying this because the people who go should do more, because when there's a little bit of people, it's easier to really harm people, right? But if you have the amount of people who went to the LA Dodger parade, 250,000 people showing up at these events, then they are incapable of not being in fear. And that's the thing. They're not in fright of doing their job, and they show it through how they treat, through how unserious they see the actual resistors, right? Because they were just laughing, they were just having a grand old time. One of the guys even said that what did he said, that his mom tastes like shit. I have it on video, it's footage. I'm not going to release it because I only recorded it for documentation, not necessarily for online, particularly because safety. It's gonna put where I am. But it's important to acknowledge that they think how we resist is a joke, right? And it's not a joke when we resist in a reality in which they are having a difficult time, because they are stopped by what? Barricades of people, lots of people, barricades of vehicle, lots of vehicles, barricades of things, right? Things like vegetables and, paint and, things, right? Just things in general, right? They are stopped by that. And if you think that I'm scared because they see everything, then be a ninja, right? What does a ninja do? It is effective in the shadows. It makes it so that you're scared of the air, so that you're scared of your shadow. That's what we need to do. If they have all eyes, then what do? We respond within the shadows in ways in which we are safe, but also that psychologically torments them, right? We need to ensure that their job is the most difficult thing, especially up here, right? Especially up here. And when it comes to the kidnappings, even if you don't have all the information, you go there like I did, because I didn't know what was happening. I heard 6 people were getting kidnapped, and I went. Well, I mean, to be fair, I called someone up to pick me up so I can go, because I'm not, it wouldn't be responsible for me to drive right now, because I had some happy juice right before, I got the response thing, and I was like, I need to go, but I'm not gonna go myself. So I called someone up, and we went just to check it out, because I wasn't sure whether it was a false alarm, what it was. I got really mixed information. The cops said that it wasn't the federal agents, which is, how does the cops say that it's not the federal agents, but these agents are refusing to identify themselves, right? So that's the thing, because if local PD is not helping the federal agents, then why, if these agents are not federal PD, why are they not identifying themselves, right? And some of them had masks on, so it's not like it's possible that it wasn't them. I've never experienced sheriffs, I've never experienced like local PD or state PD of any sort having masks on. So what is local PD doing? Lying to the people calling in, saying that they are not federal PD, right? And that's the thing, because we need to understand that in order for them to be successful, the states and the local has to be complicit on some ways, right? when it comes to the recognition that I had as I was recording, one, when I was recording not the resistors, so not the people who were shouting. I was just recording the agents. Whenever resistors would come in to my frame, I would go down, only their feet or something like that. I would not record their face. And I think that's something important moving forward, to not record resistors unless that is the point. They're utilizing these private businesses and their resources in order to basically have anti accountability barriers in order to make it difficult to hold them accountable even when they're unmasked, which is what happened in that property, right? Where some of them were unmasked and some of them weren't. The ones who were behind the truck where the light couldn't go were unmasked, and then the other ones were like, some of them were masked and some of them weren't. But what I also acknowledge is that they find the resistance on the ground to be unserious, as I said earlier, right? They were joking around, right, together, and they seem to be extremely proud of what they're doing because, as I tell you, as a scholar of political conflict, right, historical conflict, international law is my postgraduate degree, they are normalized through little actions to feel comfortable and those new responsibilities that they never thought they would have. And then you give more and more and more and more, and they find that as legal, so that is their job. So they are very comfortable and confident that what they're doing is mandated by a superior order, which is the president, right? So they see nothing wrong in what they're doing. That's what the Yahtzees did, right? So we need to recognize that watering down resistance alone by being scared of martial law, being scared of the Insurrection Act, that's not going to stop these people because they already have sadism in their mind. And when they see us as people who cannot go beyond their arsenals, right? Cannot go beyond their technology, cannot go beyond their impunity, and they don't have it. But whether or not we allow them to think that they do, that's up to us. Because the amount of people who showed up when I went was empowering yet sad, considering the surrounding, right? But we need to recognize that we need to show up even when we don't want to, because showing up is the most difficult part. And Proposition 50 in California would not have succeeded if we did not show up. And the fact that we failed to show up is why they continue to succeed, and why, if we allow and if we continue this, they will consolidate power even at our cost.